So we're just going to talk about some things that you can make at home. Some of the stuff is really not much cheaper, but if you want to do like natural type things without lots of chemicals, I mean, that's a good idea. So there are a couple things that I did not bring. You can make your own bubbles for kids. I think it calls for glycerin and some kind of oil. No, I mean cornstarch. Can I start all over? Corn syrup. My words aren't coming out today. So corn syrup, and I'm gonna send the recipe with when I get all this stuff together. Okay. And then you can make Play-Doh for your kids. Has anyone ever done that? Made it? Yeah. I mean, it's just like flour and salt and water, and you can put some food coloring in it, or you can make the edible kind. I just see that, and I'm sure my grandsons would probably eat it all. So, because I mean, kids are really bad, about keeping the containers open and they get all dried out. And if you're in, it's a rainy day and they're bored, and you're like, okay, we're gonna make Play-Doh, and then they'll play with it for a little bit. So it's pretty easy to make. So Miss Dolores makes this wonderful cream. It's really good for just dry hands. I used to make this. I forgot all about it, but I need to make it now. So
you know what? I've been putting that on my face at night when I don't want to really wash it. I'll put it on my face and then wipe it off. Use it as a cleanser.
Yes,
and then
that's awesome. This dry skin with menopause it's no joke, is it? So with this, what she's talking about is you just get a container of vitamin E cream. She said you can get it at Walmart, some Vaseline, and some baby lotion, and you just mix it all together with that. I just use a hand mixer, and then if you have some little tank containers, you could also give that. That'd be a great gift if you like to give homemade gifts. All right, so face cream. Now, my husband is not very picky about a lot of things, but he likes hand soap that's foam. So I'm glad I found this, because now I can just refill his. He doesn't care what kind of scent it is, This is what you can do. You can pour so it says about 3 tablespoons. I just pour all of it. You can put some, this is called vegetable-based glycerin. I've never heard of it. I mean, I've heard of regular glycerin, although it was in my package of, I don't know if oils stay good forever, so it's got an expiration date on it, so I'm not going to use that. Let's see here. There you go. And so we're going to put 2 tablespoons of this. Still smells pretty good. And you can put some oil in it. This is coconut. I've never seen coconut oil like in a roller. I think this is a good idea. If I can get these off. And I don't have a dropper for this, so I'm just going to pour a little bit. I think oils are kind of neat. I do know that like peppermint is really good if you're like really nauseated or it's kind of got a sick stomach. You can just kind of put some here and breathe it, and it does help. If you're really, really congested and you've got a diffuser, is it called a diffuser? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can put lavender, lemon, and peppermint, just like a few drops of each, and it will open you up. But it's really nice. I mean, it does. It just helps all that stuff to drain. All right, so we got some soap, some glycerin, and then we're going to put some distilled water in. I don't know if I can get this up. Here it goes. So leave the top, like about 1/4 of the container. Okay. Let's see. It's pretty good. It smells nice and clean. Check it. Let's see if it works. There you go. Got some. And you know, really, there are all kinds of recipes on. If you get on Pinterest and just put what you want to make homemade, you can pretty much, you know, find something.
Do you have to have a special container or pump to get it to foam?
Yeah, I think you do. Yeah. This one, it was just empty. Okay. I didn't know that. I was just getting whatever scent I liked. But so I guess I can make him a big container of this, and he can use that. I'll tell him we're saving money. So the next thing here, does everyone know what Poo-Pourri is? It's the spray before you go, right? You spray it in the toilet, and it's supposed to keep your stink below it. This calls for vegetable glycerin and witch hazel, which I don't have any of that. 2 ounces of witch hazel, and fill the rest with distilled water. You can also put essential oils in it. This stuff, Poo-Pourri is kind of expensive, so if you don't want to spend on that, you could make some yourself. All right, so how about some laundry detergent? Would anyone like to grade the soap? So this is called Fels Naphtha. I never knew that this existed. It smells really clean. It says it's good for pre-treating stains. It's a heavy duty. I think it's the washing soda and the baking soda all work together the best. And the recipe says you can put 2 tablespoons and it will clean a load of laundry. So we're gonna put just some baking soda. Yeah, I've used it with a really bad stain and used it with a little bit of vinegar and just, you know, kind of rubbed it in, and it did pretty well.
How much of this do you want me to grade? All of it?
All of it, yeah.
Okay.
That's going to give it a pretty yellow hue. My husband got their like little balls, little yellow balls. He's like, they really work well. So this is OxyClean, the stain remover. I have some kind of Oxy something in a spray that I use for stains. This is a 1.77 pound can. I may not have the recipe correct. When I've done this before, you just put whatever you have in there. And so these are the little scent beads that you can put in and make sure laundry smell better. I really needed these when Austin was playing football. I bet you could have used them too with your boys. I come home really stinking. What I'll have to do is I'll have to take some home and use it, and we'll do a test and see if it really works. There's not bleach in here. There's also a recipe with this that you can do and make it liquid. And I promise you, it filled I don't know how big a bucket that is, but that's a big bucket, and it filled it. I mean, we had laundry soap forever. And so Ken said, this is not necessarily cheaper. And I said, no, but you know what? If you had some of it and we have another pandemic, there you go. or you know, you can send them out with a scrub board and let them wash the clothes that way. But, you know, that pandemic kind of messed with me. I'm like, going to the grocery and there was nothing on the shelves. It just felt really weird. Have y'all ever experienced a time like that?
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, so here, super washing soda. So I don't really know the difference between this and baking soda. Thank you, Annie, for grinding that. This has lots of different little uses. You can use it on your silver in the kitchen and the laundry. All right, I use borax nail, like if I have really dirty towels, or you know, the towels that you leave in the wash and you forget and you come back and they're stinky. I just put like about a half a cup of it in the tub with my laundry stuff. One recipe I saw said, put this in a garbage bag and mix it up that way. And that was probably a good idea. All right, here we go. I really don't know the best way, and I thought this might do good, like a whisk to kind of get down. Another idea. This is just an attachment to my mixer. It smells good. And some recipes say that you can put essential oils in this too, if you want. I think it smells good like it is. Have to do a test with the real dirty laundry. All right, guys, this is it. Something else I've done with really bad stains is just soak it in hot water and soap and go in and scrub it and then refill it with hot water. You know, just that scrubbing helps. You can put it in the wash machine, but don't dry it until the stain is gone, because then the stain's gonna sink in. And you could do the vinegar and baking soda with that too. I've used that before. To make it liquid, I know that you would melt the soap flakes. You melt that and then you add one or two of these others and you would melt it with that, and then I do remember we let it sit in the bucket for like overnight or so, and then we filled it with hot water. But it's like a gel, not like gelatin, like real, but just kind of ooey gooey, like that. And so you need something in there to mix it up before you use it.
Yeah.
It was really neat to learn about some of the practical things, and I enjoyed hearing all of your ideas as well. It's fun to share ideas because there's a lot out there. But what I wanted to talk to you about today is related to practicality. So when it comes to practicality, some of us really excel at it, almost to a fault, but then also others of us may see it as a foreign language. You know, we all know someone who can plan well. They can make ends meet on a shoestring budget. They can fix anything with whatever happens to be lying around. Does anybody know someone like that? Or maybe you are that person. Yes, I know. My dad was very much a fix it with anything kind of person. He was super practical and very handy. As a matter of fact, just a really quick side story, when I was a young professional, I lived in Birmingham. My parents were in Montgomery. and the brake lights on my car would not turn off. Apparently there's a little button under your brake pedal that depresses, that turns your brake lights on. Well, that button had disintegrated. So my dad fixed it in Clanton, Alabama, in a parking lot with a gum wrapper. And that thing worked until we gave the car away. It was still working. So those are the folks who are really good. They can fix anything with anything. They are super practical. They're not frivolous. They see things clearly, but sometimes they can also be so thrifty and economical they might be stingy, labeled as that. On the other hand, we have those that are not practical. They don't bother to plan. They might spend money like there's no tomorrow. They might even be labeled a dreamer. And so it's important to remember, no matter where we fall on the practicality spectrum, that we are all made unique. God gave each of us our own temperaments and personalities so that we could confidently serve Him with our giftings, whether that's making detergent or buying everything, whatever works with that. So we're all called to do that. But Romans 12:10 tells us we are to be devoted to one another in love, to honor one another above yourselves. And so I wanted to remind us sometimes when we have these different personalities to remember that's how each of us are. So getting along with opposite personalities can be a challenge, right? We've all had somebody, I'm sure, like, I don't understand them. But that's because of their temperament. We could also remember that we're all God's children. That can help us. But knowing the strengths and faults of our own temperaments is very useful, but understanding the strengths of other and faults of other temperaments is actually vital. It really helps us to understand each other. Because when we realize that others act according to their temperament and not just merely to annoy us, we actually gain the freedom to let them be themselves, so that they don't feel like they have to be just like us. So there are lots of temperament and personality models out there. I'm sure if you've been in the workforce at some point, you might have been asked to take the Myers-Briggs test, or maybe you've heard of the more modern Enneagram that's out there. But one that's like a tried and true classic that I love is the 4 temperaments. It's the sanguine, phlegmatic, melancholy, choleric. Have y'all heard of those before? They go back to like ancient times, and this has nothing to do with what we're going to talk about, but they named those based on like fluids in the body. Like if you had more blood, you were sanguine, or bile, you were melancholy, that kind of thing. But that has nothing to do with the temperaments. That's just where it started for the names. There was a book a while back written by Tim LaHaye. It's called Why You Act the Way You Do. And he goes through a Christian perspective of these 4 temperaments and the blends, and just helps people see their strengths and weaknesses. So I wanted to give you just a quick description of these 4 and see if you hear yourself in any of them. Most of the time, no one is going to be 100% one of them. They're going to be a blend of the 2. And if you're ever interested, there are assessments online you can take to see where you fall in the spectrum. I used to teach this in my 9th grade leadership class a few years ago, and it was always fun. People are like, oh, what am I going to be, you know? But keep in mind, these are just generalities. It does not put you in a box, but it does give you ideas of maybe things you do or don't do. So here we go. You ready? The sanguine. The sanguine is the true people person, okay? This girl can get in a room at a party and talk to 20 people 3 minutes each. She might be the one who dances on the table. She has fun. She's the life of the party. So she's very good at having the ability to make people feel welcome and to feel good about themselves. But the sanguine can be unreliable, egocentric, and emotionally unstable. They're kind of, woo, going with the flow, okay? So that's the sanguine. A different, very different one is the choleric, okay? So the choleric is a reliable, natural-born leader. This person can make a decision like that. They usually have a very clear vision of how they want things to go. They're practical, they're decisive, but they often focus on the task at hand and they forget they're working with people, okay? So they can kind of be thought of sometimes as cruel, domineering. They're the boss that says it's my way or the highway, okay? A lot of teachers are really good cholerics, I will say, because they've got to come in and have that class, under control. So then we have the melancholies. Okay, melancholies. They're the most loyal friend you will ever have. They are industrious, self-motivating, hardworking. They're like the worker bee. They're going to be a lot of behind the scenes, taking care of things. They don't really ask for a lot of attention. However, they struggle with self-centeredness, negativity, and moodiness. So the melancholy loves the arts as well. But as I said, they're like all about perfection. So if one thing goes wrong, the whole day is ruined. Okay, one thing, your whole day gone. Okay, the phlegmatic. This is our fourth and last one. This is the peacemaker. Okay, phlegmatics are very laid back. If you know someone that has a super dry sense of humor, they're probably phlegmatic. They are peacekeepers. They want to strive for harmony at all costs in a relationship. So that makes them easygoing. They're practical as well. They're often humorous, but they have a tendency toward procrastination. They're so laid back, it'll get done when it gets done. And they're very indecisive, don't want to rock the boat. They want to be a peacemaker. And they often tend to worry too, because again, if you want to keep harmony, no matter what you do, is it going to keep harmony? So do any of those sketches resonate with you? You heard yourself or someone else in like some of these ideas, and these are just a brief idea of each one. The one thing I want you to notice, each temperament, they have some pretty awesome strengths, right? And you're like, yeah. And then you hear the weaknesses, you go, oh, yeah, I have those too. So we want to remember God made each of us with these special temperaments. And while they're not an excuse for poor behavior, I am definitely, I will reveal, I am melancholy choleric, okay, married to a sanguine melancholy. It can not always be fun. So anyway, the temperaments, we have to remember we can't say I'm melancholy and that means I can be moody all the time. No, we have to realize I'm melancholy. That's why I am. Lord, please help me work through this correctly and not be like that. And we can appreciate the differences in others. Because again, Romans 12:10 tells us we should love and honor others above ourselves, which means we appreciate rather than belittle those who are different from us. This can help us in our friendships, in our working relationships, in our marriages. So, for instance, I mentioned, I'm melancholy choleric. My husband is melancholy sanguine, or sanguine melancholy. So when he tells a story about the past, he remembers how he felt and all the awesomeness about it, but he gets all the dates and everything wrong. And my journalistic old perfection melancholy is like, that's wrong. It was on Friday, not Tuesday. What did it really matter? He's like, don't correct me. So, yep. So if I just remember, he's telling the story as he remembered it, and the sentiment is right, the details, it's all good. So that's one way that works. So while the four temperaments are not mentioned anywhere in the Bible, I know we don't see any of those words attached to a person in the Bible, they do paint a pretty accurate picture of people in general, just general tendencies. So I wanted us to think about the 12 disciples. They were very different, right? Think about the different actions they took, the conflicts they had. I think about Peter, he's like, I'll walk on water. I'm going to chop that ear off. I'm going to do it. Andrew's out there. I'm going to bring people in. And then I can't remember which one that stood by the tree. It was like Nathaniel or Philip. One of them was like, nothing good comes out of Galilee. I mean, they were all different. James and John, they were fighting over who was the best. So they had different temperaments and personalities, but yet Jesus called every single one of them to be a disciple of his and to work and carry his word out. So there is room for each of us in Christ's kingdom, and we should embrace our uniqueness and the uniqueness of others as we carry on his work. So wherever we stand on this practicality spectrum, whether we make our own laundry detergent, from scratch, or we basically swing by and pick up that box of Tide at Kroger, let us remember that each of us are fearfully and wonderfully made, which is that beautiful Psalm 139:14 verse. So we can work together to strive and understand and appreciate each other's differences. Well, thank you for letting me share with y'all. We have one more next week, and it's going to be on homemade things. Oh no, gifts, simple gifts. That's what it's going to be. Simple gifts to make. So that will be fun, and we'll have one more devotion.